So what is business psychology about? Well, what I do is primarily assessment. So I'm interested in this kind of profile that I would build about somebody. And, essentially, most employers are interested in what someone can do. So that is about capability, okay? And I measure things like numeric reasoning, verbal reasoning, spatial ability, and those kind of things that are objectively measured. So it is like sitting a test that you would have some sort of paper that you can have a clean cut off and say this person's more capable than another. So you would find that out about somebody before you move on to the next step of assessment. And let me give you an example. So I come from a very traditional background. My dad and mum had shortlisted some suitors for me. My brothers and sisters all had arranged marriages and I was the last one. So what was on their capability agenda? It was money. So who earned the most money? Guys who were doctors, dentists, lawyers, solicitors, that kind of profession. And I suppose, at the lower end of the scale, there would have been people who were maybe manual or less qualified. So, the what is about capability, it can be about qualifications when you're looking for people in your organisation. But then the other bit that was one that we didn't agree on was this scale, the x-axis, was about how. And that's not necessarily how capable, but how they present themselves, their personality. And, your personality impacts the how you do something in the workplace. So an introverted personality, you might not hear and see them that much, whereas an extroverted personality always tends to perform really well at an interview. So in my interview for this suitor, I was placed in a room by myself with them for an hour, and at the end of it, we had to decide whether we were, matched. And how do you do that in a work-based environment? Because you are talking about an organisation taking someone on board, and it is a bit of a marriage kind of scenario, because, there is a psychological contract developing. So this is all about the psychology of how personality impacts performance in a job. And I suppose my dad's idea of a good personality for me was very much like him. Most people recruit people that are like them because they get on with them, don't they? And unfortunately, with my dad's upbringing, he was quite, the chauvinistic pig. So, eat all. He wanted somebody who was like him. Whereas my idea of the chauvinistic pig would be someone who's least like that. So that would be there on that X scale. Because ultimately, we were looking for culture fit. That's what happens when you get the right person doing the right things the right way. And that was too much of a difference, too big a gap. And so, we didn't quite ever work that one out. And I said no to all of them because they were all not of the personality I would have personally chosen. And I think, that's no different in the workplace. We tend to prefer people who are like us, but not always appreciate that they're good for us, because you have two extroverts that are married to each other, that they're always competing, or they'll clash on things. Whereas actually, if you have personalities that complement each other and their skills complement what is required for the business, then you have that sweet success.
And psychometric testing then can help solve this problem?
Definitely, because that you do at an early stage to make sure you don't even spend time dating people who aren't capable. But when you do start dating, you find out more about them, and that is where you can have personality profiling that won't give you any surprises when they come in for interview. You know what to expect, and then it's more of an opportunity to verify and probe and explore more about them. So it gives you a lot more focus on how to use that interview time in the most effective way.